Hail to the king, baby.
Hello, it's me, Michael B. Thanks, guys, so much for coming live now. We got so many people in the chat. I would love to highlight them, but I just can't. I don't have the controls to be able to go live.
Do all those things.
Why would Michael B do that?
What you were supposed to do something else. You were supposed to start and be like, you have some nerve.
Oh. You have some nerve, Michael
I know,
B.
I'm the worst. My New Year's resolution is to be nicer. That's my goal. To be nicer and to be more inclusive. You know, the opposite of your guys' podcast.
What's really cool is it's not January yet, so you're going to be really mean tonight, right?
For
No,
another
I'm
4
not gonna be
days.
really
You got
mean.
4 days left, Michael B. You're so
So-
mean, man.
I know. So, guys, no Super Game Room dudes again tonight. So, you know what I had to do? I had to reach out and look for the best in podcasting, in home arcade and retro gaming. And I found these guys, Console Kits and my buddy B-Kong. These guys host a brand new podcast they've been doing ever since Pinball Expo, a little bit sporadic sometimes. Pinball, arcade and pinball for everybody. That's the slogan.
Everybody
right?
but you, Mike.
Everybody but Mike. Pinball and arcade, everybody but Mike.
That's
Yes.
right.
No Mike B's allowed. But occasionally you can come join the party.
I saw you trolling
the start.
Canada today, Kong. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, we had a slight conversation. I joined his morning show, and I forget when you join a Facebook Live, it tells the person who joined. So I
Yeah.
just joined to kind of sneak in, and he was like, oh, look, B Kong is here. And he gave me a shout out. But he told me what it took to be a real pinball content creator. Do you know what he
really?
said? You know what
Only
he told me?
owning one pen.
Yes.
It can be Guns N' Roses.
Mhm,
Having a family.
mhm.
Is that it? Just
No,
basically
no.
that's it.
That's what he said. I need to say something negative, or at least yeah, I have to give good criticism to the pinball company, like to their face. It's the first thing I say to Zach Sharp the first time I ever meet him, is to say, this John Wick fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And that's would have made me a good pinball content creator, apparently.
So,
I'm
so
sorry.
there's a lot of people that have that philosophy. It's like Dubs, right? Like we're all waiting for Dubs to pop in here at some point or another tonight. But it's like Dubs. Dubs always goes, you know, guys, I like these things, but I do have my areas for improvement or room for improvement, opportunities for improvement. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's
And I
really
get that,
interesting.
and like, if I probably doesn't watch my content, but when I did my 2 reviews of the pinballs that they gave me, I gave my top 10 things I hate and love about the pinball machines. So, you know, every content creator feels like they give their share of things. My argument was, in a 1 hour time span for a first impression, do you have time to like look immediately at all the negative things you see about a product? I think at anybody, for any product, whatever it is, the first thing you try to do is look at the exciting things. Unless there's something like glaringly standing out to you, it's hard to make like an informed, constructive criticism of any new product within a first impression. So I think that's the realistic take, that anybody who does this or ever has an opportunity to do that, that's the part.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Note
There's
to
also
self, if I'm ever famous as Canada, never say that to a fellow content creator. Because you're just a jerk, right? Like, why be a jerk? Actually, I know why he's a jerk, because he's a marketing guy and he knows what gets views. So
He does.
you should tell him, oh, I see what you're doing. You're playing the playbook of saying exactly what you think your audience wants to
Want you to
hear,
hear.
just so you can get views, because that's the only thing you actually care about, and not actually care about pinball itself. And I said that because I want to build up my brand as having an attitude towards other content creators. See what I did there? No, never mind.
Yeah, I think people, a lot of people that are good at YouTube, I'm the opposite. They want to come up with a character and like a way to do stuff and stuff like that. But I want to go back to the whole comment about you got to be negative about certain aspects. I think if anybody really watches anything we do, even with our reviews, we all do point out things like we don't like this, we don't like that. But there's people that have a signature way of doing it. Some act like it's the worst thing in the world. The company should go to jail. Other people say, oh, opportunities for improvement, other things like that. But like, if you really watch and you really pay attention, most people are mentioning the same things that are problems with the cabinets. There's just varying levels of anger or emphasis put on it.
Agree.
Yes.
So what are we talking about tonight?
We're just hanging out, man. Like, there's nothing sensible that goes on here. Dubs isn't here to keep us on track. We can do whatever the hell we want.
This is great. Why don't you shout out a whole bunch of people in the chat? I'd love to hear the
that's actually not a bad idea. Darren Kane here, former Arcade1Up employee. Darren, it's always good to see you. Darren does a lot of art if you follow Darren on Facebook, so it'll be interesting if that's his YouTube channel. We also get Calvin Wong here. If we put a 1-up in jail, can we take over? And I've always said this, if we ran Arcade1Up, more specifically me, we'd get a lot of cool shit for about 3 months and the company would go out of business. Kevin Clausen's here, Sneaky Hugger, the best moderator in the business, Jason Little Alien, Ted Adam Green's here, Steps Gaming, Biggie D was here earlier in the chat. What's up, guys? Mad Dog's here, Mike Hawk Hertz. Who else we got here? Vic Vicious, Bono's Tecmo, Bill's Retro Gaming Show. Bill, I was so sad when Glenn had Steven on tonight. I feel like your opportunity to take over that show is just... It's like when you're watching Friends and you want Chandler and Rachel just to get together. Not Chandler and Rachel.
Chandler and Rachel. Ross and Rachel.
Ross and Rachel to get together in season 1 or season 2. I'm just waiting for that special moment that Game Time comes back together on Kicking It Old School. Peter McNabb's here, Ritual Dello, Gamer Fridge, always good to see you. JJ is here. He was giving me a hard time earlier. He was like, how long do you think it's going to take Dubs to join? Who knows? Tim York, Dr. Torque, B. Kirby, James hates everything, including his fans. That's why he catfishes them all the time. That's a P-Dubs joke. I got to give him credit. Quentin's here, Dark Empire, Thumping Squid, did I say you earlier? Duggar5150, Show Gecko, Israel Gaming, Galaga Guy. Go check out Galaga Guy later tonight. He's always doing fun stuff. Stock Jock's here. Raid from GRS, Brian G, Wingo. Make sure I don't miss anybody. Ted Adam Green. I said Jim the Pacers fan. I think that's everybody, guys. Carl O's here.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining the show tonight. We're going to have some fun. Chaotic BPR, I just saw you. Who else we got here? Hayden Dan. Yes.
That's everybody. And if
that's
he didn't
everybody.
mention you, he doesn't like you.
I don't care for you as a person, and obviously you've done something to offend me. All right, guys. So first up, I want to talk about AtGames. That's how we started off last week's show, but this week's show is going to go a lot quicker. So everybody knows about the lists that AtGames put out. They showed off their upcoming games with Magic Pixel for 2025. Then they showed off the Zen games, but then took it down really quickly. And I did a video earlier this week explaining it. I'll just get the picture up for context in case you didn't see it. B, I know you didn't see it probably. Right?
I watched all 30 minutes of your
31 minutes and 34 seconds.
Justin was fascinated with that. It was like 31 minutes. My God.
I know, like it motivated me. I was like, man, he can pull off 31 minutes uploaded. Man, I might try that. You know, it's like, how long did it take you to edit that?
Well, you know, those.
Did you watch the whole thing, or did you spot edit and cross your fingers and upload?
No. I've got it down to a science now. I couldn't watch the whole thing. Like I know when I make mistakes, when I don't make mistakes, and I cut those out. So, anyways, this is the list. Okay. Thanks to the people in the unofficial AtGames 4K Facebook page for putting this back up.
Mhm.
They actually screen capped the video before it was taken down. So we got a lot of really cool shit coming out. There's some Star Wars, which I think was a surprise to a lot of people. I know I was talking to Jason Little Alien about it a little while ago, and Jason Little Alien said Star Wars may be too expensive for them to get, but they do have Star Wars. Not all of them. They've got some Star Wars. And then I was really excited because look at all those W's in there. Look at all those Williams games coming to the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K. I'm super excited about that.
It's amazing. Like, I've been on the fence on buying the 4K for a while, and part of me wonders why, they would reveal the 52 tables for the entire year, and there's more to be revealed. Like, not everything is mentioned. But definitely all of those William games are fantastic. Zen does a great job recreating those. And the fact that all of these are coming in 2025, like, my hesitation at this point is all of the negativity around getting damaged units.
Yeah.
Then there's the claim that they're not making any more variety of skin. But then look at all of these games here. Could any one of these potentially be their next skin? And is that a skin you would prefer to have? So I'm on pause. What do you think? Are you going to get 1B?
I do like that they're coming out with this many official Zen tables. I mean, like, this is truly like Zen's official pinball cabinet. Like, they have been looking for a way to make a commercialized virtual pinball machine. So, this is it. They're pretty much putting their whole library out there, which is great. And the great thing that I miss, honestly, about playing the titles on an AtGames Legends connected devices is the leaderboard, multi-board community tournaments and things where you can truly immediately see your high score ranking against other people that have it. That was always the best part of, like, claiming fame over, like, P-dubs over the first night, or Michael B, or whatever, that we can play it. So I can still play these games on my PC pinball that has versions of FX3, and I can be happy with my own high scores. But the fact that I can't brag online with other people is probably the thing that's making me miss having my Legends HD. I have the Legends Mini, which I can still compete on the HD device, folks, for those tables. But I don't think anybody's playing their HD anymore. I don't think to get much love.
Well, the HD people are still playing it. Like, I know my buddy Gregory's got Calling All Ballers. They do tournaments and stuff like that for the HD. They're having fun with it.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
And there's new tables coming out for it. I mean, in the other lists where they show the Magic Pixel stuff, all that stuff, like the Rare Pack, all that stuff still coming out for the Legends HD. It's just they can't do the Zen games on the Legends HD. They want to. They would love to. This is not them, holding Zen hostage so you have to buy a 4K. Because believe me, no company's like, we don't like money. We're not going to sell you this software. So they would love to. It's not going to work. I mean, like, even on the 4K, it's still only in 1440p. They can't get it up to 4K. So.
Yeah. So you've played, like, Pinball FX as well as, like, FX3. Is the versions that are on the 4K a different version than either of those? Is it somewhere in between? Is it like the quality of
no. FX? Yeah, it's the quality of the new Pinball FX done in the the Epic engine or whatever it was. Like, everything looks great, plays great, and it's definitely the updated tables. It's not like it's a version of Pinball FX3. Funny enough, the people from Pinball FX3, they don't work with Zen Studios anymore. So, and there's a big deal about that. They don't even have like the back codes. They can't even go back and get those games. Because I asked that to AtGames, I was like, can't like you at least do like maybe some Pinball FX3? And they're like, no.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, and I've never been one of those that rebought all the tables in Pinball FX yet. Like, I'm satisfied with my FX3 library and bought all those.
Oh, there's a big difference. Believe it or not.
And I have not. I'm just like, it doesn't make a big difference when you go OLED switch, right? Like, I'm just not about those.
You son of a bitch.
Don't make a huge difference. Like,
this whole thing about marginal difference, it drives me nuts. I love my OLED switch. It made me want to play the Switch more. It looks better. Same with the OLED Steam Deck. You were like, marginal difference.
So it's playable. so marginal. It's not worth it.
But then you're gonna want to get the Switch too, because it's
Well,
marginally
yeah,
better, but
that's
not
next level
OLED. Have you
better.
heard about that?
Like,
It's not
And
OLED.
like, I like
Well,
them.
they're gonna sell an upgrade one later on, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
This
think
is
in my
just business.
I've always been like an every other generation person because
Yeah.
I always feel like the next step
Right.
up is not good enough. But 2 generations up, I'm like, I'm waiting for Pinball FX2 to come back around. You know, when it's like Pinball FX.
Now, Mike, you were heading towards Tomb Raider.
Yeah, so
get you back on track.
all these games are amazing, and like all the games from last year from the Pinball FX for Williams releases, like Pinbot, Swords of Fury, Whirlwind, we're getting all that shit, and we're getting the back catalog of Williams games, even this year's games with Black Knight, Earthshaker, and Banzai Run. So lots of really cool stuff. But what came up that was really surprising to a lot of people was this announcement right here: Tomb Raider Pinball Legends Mini Pack. Tomb Raider Table 1, Tomb Raider Table 2. The only problem with that is there is no Tomb Raider Zen Pinball pack. Never has been. So what it looks like, and it looks like the reason this got taken down, is that AtGames accidentally spoiled a big surprise from Zen Studios.
What was the other mistake that AtGames made?
Hiring Justin Console Kits.
No, I think there's 3 mistakes.
Hiring Nostalgia.
No. So Tomb Raider is the third one.
Yeah.
Then there was the lag one, but there was something else a year ago. I seriously don't remember what it is, but this is that whole thing where, 2 weeks goes by and you totally forget what it was. But didn't they spoil like something else in the past? Something that got Mel Kirk to be upset with PK. This is not the first time.
I'm not.
Maybe
sure
those in
about
the
that.
chat. Do you guys remember where it was like? Wait, I'm starting to remember. No, I don't remember.
It's coming back to you. It's coming back.
It's something
all
to do with their
coming back.
marketing. It's like
All
their marketing.
coming
They
back,
don't.
all coming back to me now.
Like, okay, how did this mistake happen? Was it someone at Games put together a PowerPoint?
Yeah.
And they're like, let's go ahead and reveal what everything is going to be. Did they not show it to Zen? Mel did not review this? Because Mel would have been like, whoa. Tomb Raider, not that. You can list everything else, but not Tomb Raider. And with a lot of companies, the company I work with, we work with other companies, and I'm not in all the meetings, but I'm in summary meetings where we're like, this, they said no to, this, they said yes to, so don't talk about this, you can talk about that. And it seems like there's so many eyes on a product. Kong, you probably know what I'm talking about, right? Like you work in corporate, right? And there's so many eyes that if there's any problem, there's like 10 people that are listing things that should be changed. Yeah. But it's almost like no one looked at this.
I think 100% it didn't get approval. Sometimes a lot of things with AtGames is very last minute. It's just the way their business runs. Like it's a scramble to get stuff done. And I got a feeling this didn't get final license or approval before it went out. I also think the people that are doing this side of things, even though they work for AtGames, I don't think they're the biggest pinball fans, or they're not in tune with what exactly Zen Studios have or have not done. So like, say for example, this is one of their corporate people that put together this PowerPoint. There's a good chance they have no idea if Zen has ever done a Tomb Raider pinball table before. This is just a button on a thing for them. They're not like real big fans.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because they pulled this whole thing down, right? It seems like a knee-jerk reaction. Probably Mel was like, take it down. We haven't announced that yet. You stole our thunder.
Yeah, well, it's more than stealing thunder sometimes, because that Tomb Raider pinball might not be finalized. Like, that's what I said. I'm really hoping this doesn't screw anything up, because a lot of times if something gets leaked out early, it screws up the whole deal. Like, we've seen that with Arcade1Up a couple times, like with, what was it? The Neo Geo partnership that got screwed up because of an early leak. And, they had a big brawl with Midway over the MK4 stuff. So yeah, that stuff happens.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That we said that at the same time. Unfortunate. Okay. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, you're supposed to hit him and say, you owe me a Coke.
Oh, I know. Jinx.
I hope Mel's not mad. Like, who cares? It's not a big deal. Like, maybe, there's a whole bunch of Zen fans that watch the Bite show, what's it called, the
Pinball
Zen
Bites.
Pinball Bites. I wonder if like a large majority of those customers have no clue. Like, it's not been leaked. They don't know about it. They're not in this bubble.
And the Zen,
Do you know what I mean?
Well, the problem is I'm talking about it now, and as you all know, I exist outside this home arcade bubble. So
outside.
but like I cover a lot of Zen stuff, and I do have like a lot of followers from the Zen Pinball stuff too.
Yeah, but you don't have all of them.
No, God, no.
You probably
no.
have like 2% of them.
Yeah, but what is the following base from Zen Pinball? I don't really know. My buddy Crow does a lot of pinball. Crow I met years ago when I was covering retro games, and he went all in on pinball and now virtual pinball. So, like, I don't know what his following is, what's that like, but he's one of the people you would go to find out like virtual pinball stuff. For some reason, he really followed Zachariah. I was like, why?
So when the video was up, like, do you know how many views it got officially before it was down? Like, ballpark?
No, I didn't even see it. I actually got a message from AtGames because like I was a little weirded out by it. I was like, I can't leave my family December 24th to do like a video on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I got sent the message with the other tables, and they're like, yeah, well, we're just taking the other table down now, waiting for licensor approval, the other video. I was like, okay. I never even seen it. If it wasn't for this list that was actually put up in the unofficial group, I never would have seen it. Or I probably would have in somebody else's video. I think P-Dubs did a pretty good video on it too.
You wouldn't know because you didn't watch it.
I only watch his Neocade videos. I just feel bad for him.
Got to give this guy a view, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. His Neocade videos, have you guys watched them?
They're in my watch list.
Handheld?
Yeah, the handheld Neocade, the Genesis, and then he did the Game Boy Advance today. They got the dreaded 6 out of 10.
I only give my sympathy views to Fox.
Yeah, I know.
So all his MyArcade stuff, yeah, I watched that.
It's so sad, right? Yeah, guys, if you haven't voted yet, don't forget to vote in the poll. It's like we gotta have an intervention for Fox next time we get together. Fox, you've hit rock bottom, friend.
Also, I think I just invented the term sympathy view.
Yeah,
and I want that to be very popular.
I think the majority of my views are sympathy views.
Totally. I definitely am a sympathy view channel because, you know, there's videos that come out where, you know, it's like one of those paid advertisements. They have to do it. Like Cool Toy just put out something that was about a VR Kansas City Chiefs thing. And he's normally like great on views. And in 4 hours, it had like 50 something. I was like, that was my sympathy view. I gave a sympathy view to Cool Toy. That's a new term now, Justin.
Good.
We can talk about that later because I do want to talk about VR. Like, you guys know, I'm all in on VR. Like, I'm Captain VR now in 2025.
Amazing. Like, amazing. With it.
You ever see Harold and Kumar's 3D Christmas, and at the end they're looking at the 3D TV? No, but I'm all in on VR. Like
you're turning into a VR channel, is what you said.
100%.
Are you going to do the green screen thing? I want to see you play.
You can get a
Beat
green
Saber.
screen.
Yeah. Have you seen the Beat Saber guys?
No.
They like got a room. Have you seen it? It's an entire room that's green screen, and then they shoot it at an angle, and then they superimpose the game, and it's like they're in the game.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
Bill's Retro Gaming Show. He also is part of the AtGames influencer thread. Not the thread. There's no thread anymore.
This comment is sponsored, by the way.
Yeah. He said he was given both lists and then told not to use the Zen one. I never got the Zen list. I just got the AtGames list. So, yeah.
They don't trust you.
I'm very excited for what's coming. I hope nothing gets screwed up because of this, mistake. And, my advice to AtGames is, get final approval before you put anything out going forward, obviously, right?
Yeah. Tell Zen, don't worry about it. Everyone will forget in 2 weeks.
Well, I will ask you, are you excited for a potential Tomb Raider pinball? Is that something that you think has legs? What do you think it'll be? Do you think it'll be classic Tomb Raider, or do you think it'll be the most recent Square Enix Tomb Raider they did with Crystal Dynamics?
What have they done recently that is kind of a retro-ish?
They did the remasters, and they also did the partnership with Evercade for Tomb Raider.
No, yeah, but Zen, right? Has Zen recently done an IP? That's like a, that's the data point that could help us determine if it's modern or kind of.
The last
90s.
video game stuff they did was probably the I forget the name of the company, but it was like Borderlands, Homeworld, and Brothers in Arms. That pack.
This is tough because I think we have to see it. Like the IP itself, Tomb Raider, can be amazing or could be horrible. It all depends on that first impression. Can mean so much. Once you see it, if it's got wings, it's gonna fly. That's typically how it works.
Mike loves it when his joke finally hits and he's like, yes!
I love it. I'm so happy now. Unfortunately, I did ask 19K Fox to be here tonight, but he said he was going to be busy with the kids. And since Fox's kids are all moved out, I can only think he means the kids in the sweatshops making the Unico Nova Blasts. He's on top of them, making sure they get those units out to you guys.
So I have here on Pinside, and I just shared my screen, the leak of Tomb Raider Pinball FX came out 3 years ago. Look, isn't that a Pinball FX logo with Lara Croft on it? Like, this
I think
was
that's
predicted.
Is that Pinball FX 2 or?
Yeah, this was already leaked 3 years ago. Hello.
What?
No, this was actually just a homebrew pinball machine from somebody who wanted to make a Tomb Raider pinball machine, and he's like, "Look, this would be really cool. Here's my ideas for all this stuff. Here's how to do this stuff." But yeah, I think it would have to be some of the classic nostalgia Tomb Raider stuff for me to be super interested. I don't think I've played the modern one, so I want to see like classic Lara Croft.
Are really friggin' good, man. I love the modern.
Yeah, but I want to see pinball table off of pinball's a lot of nostalgia, man. So I know they do a lot of the modern stuff, but I think
they're gonna do it with no guns, right?
Yeah, no guns. I'm not worried about the no guns. Let's be honest here.
We're all men. The boobs, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say, because that's been the big thing with the movies and everything lately. They're dwarfing and like resizing Lara Croft's breasts. Like, pinball fans, and Dubs is the first person to say this, we want boobies on the back glass, so they can't dwarf the breasts. We need the breasts.
I just have a feeling that Michael B made a choice of his wife based on Laura.
Oh,
he's all like, yes, Laura.
This is better than VR. It's
what
amazing.
Is your wife's name again? Is it really Laura?
Lara, yeah. It's Lara. It's like Lara Croft.
But you say Laura.
She's Lara, and I'm the Womb Raider.
That's terrible. And those 3D pixels used to do a lot for us back in the day. The PS1 version of Tomb Raider. I mean, did you ever all right, let me just ask you a quick
one quick second.
Right.
Maybe 19K Fox covers MyArcade, and then she didn't finish it for the money.
No, I think I got it figured out. I've been watching him. I almost commented, but I decided not to. So 19K Fox is pretty smart content creator. He's been building credibility with the community. That's what he's been doing. It's this subtle brand image investment. So he purposely buys crappy products, reaches out and gets sponsorships with crappy products that he 100% doesn't enjoy at all, just to crap on them. So he can gain a following, and his following will be like, this guy's legit. He hates everything. It's the Kaneda style, right? Like, you don't want 19K Fox, or 19K Fox is not going to get a sponsorship with a product that's actually any good, because then he would say it's a 10 out of 10, and people will call him a shill. So he's all like, MyArcade totally sucks. I'm not into this. What they're doing here is really dumb. People are like, love the guy. Amazing. Also, he's really sexy and tall.
Actually, I will tell you this. Huge bombshell about MyArcade. They may have somebody now involved with them working for them that is going to blow your socks off. It's not my story to tell. That's 19K Fox's. When he wants to reveal that bomb, he can. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody.
Wait. But Fox is employed by MyArcade now?
Well, I mean, obviously. Didn't you see his last couple videos? All right. So really quickly, I did want to show you guys something else. Speaking of companies Fox works with that could affect his credibility. So very quickly, I want to show this. You guys follow Neo Severa on Twitter?
Oh yeah, the Unico guy.
Yes.
Yeah, the Unico guys. So ahead of CES, Unico have unveiled some more new products they're going to be showing off at CES, or they've got coming out. So let me introduce you to the Knights of Valor handheld. And then after that, I got to go over to the other screen. They've actually got their own video game console, arcade home console coming out. So what do you think of these products, guys? Do you think these are representative of a high-level gaming company, or do you think these are products that can be found on Alibaba and then repurposed to put Unico
leading
games on?
question, is it?
I know.
Go ahead, B.
Yeah, I'm looking at that design. I'm just looking at the Kinkank that I have in my hand, and it's like, you're right. Like I was just seeing if it was an actual clone of it, but no, the design is a little bit different. The button placement is there, but they're all practically the same now. So it is not something that I would say is unique enough in the space, and I think that's what people were saying. It's a crowded handheld market. And with the Unico, I don't see a Unico logo on it. So, I mean, how big of a Unico is that going to be a brand seller? Like, I think Ken Hank and Jay Mockin are like bigger brands now than Unico is in terms of the handheld space. So I trust that more than this.
Yeah, we'll just pause for a second. Apparently, we've got ads coming up every 30 minutes because I scheduled them that way. So I'll just wait a second till everybody's caught up.
Okay, a moment of silence, everyone, for a content creator recently that got canceled.
All right, back into it.
Yeah, that's good.
Here we go. Yeah, that's fine. So these products remind me so much. I was so critical of their Unico Pocket that just came out because of things like this, like a second thumbstick that absolutely has no purpose, trigger buttons on the back of the Unico Pocket. Then I see this stuff and I'm like, man, Unico, what are you doing? Like, I understand that it's an easy cash grab to put like these titles on these devices and put them out, but like,
I have words.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a feeling that right now Jay Mason is like, this is my impression of Jay Mason. Mike, you literally told me last week that I need to come out with products that are branded by the license that I have. And here's the problem. Here's what I think is the problem. The community responds to Jay Mason with, you should do this, you should do that, you should do that. And then he's responding with his interpretation of what he thinks you're saying. And now you're getting mad at him because he's really bad at interpreting it. And that's what I think is happening. Look, I put stickers.
I know.
You said all I needed was put stickers.
That's what Fox said. I didn't say that.
That's fair.
I did feel bad because I did
put stickers on it, and he's like, I put stickers.
I put stickers on it. But obviously, like I've got a bunch of like Kin Hank and J Mockin, like little tiny plug and play consoles, and this is exactly what they look like, right?
But they just don't have stickers. But
they just don't have the stickers. Yeah,
I agree with you. What Fox was trying to say is the product needs to look like a collectible.
Yeah,
it needs. So go look at everything that's in the retro gaming space that's a handheld. That is something that someone would put on the shelf. That's a collectible. Even MyArcade stuff is more collectible than this.
Agreed. Yeah, MyArcade has more legitimacy and more value than some of these things they're putting out. Like maybe the emulation is great, maybe the games are going to play great on it, but looking at this without that hands-on feel and stuff like that, this looks like cheap stuff, right? And this is a company that has a pretty good name in the home arcade space with the MBSX, with the Nova Blast already. Stuff like this, could damage the reputation or cheapen it, right?
Yeah, I think that was a good point that Fox pointed out. He's saying, like, they don't have to do this. This is a choice that they're making, and this is clearly they believe, and I think there's good reason to, that this is Jay Mason reaching out to a handful of manufacturers and be like, what do you got in stock?
Yeah,
and they're like, we got all these things for $39.99, and they're like, let's make it red and slap a logo on it, and
I know exactly what this is. This is the bastard child of my Amber Nick because it has the same 3 slash logos and the button design and the full screen Kinhink. It's literally the amalgamation of both of these. It's really fun. But if you don't have one, I think it would be a good product to get. If you have many of them, there's probably no need for this. What does IGS stand for too? Is that something?
It's much like, what are the analog sticks for? Nobody knows. Nobody knows, Biggie D. Nobody knows.
Right. It seems to be an off-the-shelf product that they probably, it's in stock on the shelf.
Yeah.
They bought a couple hundred of them and then went to SNK or IGS or whoever and said like, yeah, approved. Yeah, it's odd.
So I know you cats are going to be going to CES. You may, in case they don't see this or hear about this, you may want to give them a heads up that I don't know where they're coming up with these ideas. I don't know if they do any market research, but I don't know if this stuff is good for their brand, and maybe have a conversation with them about appropriate market research ahead of time. But then again, maybe Unico isn't really necessarily looking at us for our opinions.
Yeah,
on
they're
the
looking
products.
at Fox.
They're looking at
blame
Fox.
Fox. Hashtag blame Fox. Unico chats with Fox on a daily basis, and they listen to whatever that jerk says. And then Neo Severa goes into Photoshop and says, "What do you guys think?" And then we say it's stupid, and they make it anyway. That's how it works.
Yeah, and these
Blame
are
Fox.
100% products I'm not interested in. I got a lot of love for, and I'm not familiar with Knights of Valor or this other stuff here. I don't know what they're doing there. Like, I got a lot of love for the Neo Geo AES console. I think they could do a lot of cool stuff with that, but
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, they have these nostalgic brands and products in their wheelhouse. They could probably go to SNK and be like, "Hey, what if we borrow this branding?" And it turns into, they could make a mini product. There's so many things they could do, right?
What? Hey, VR peeps, I was told not to unbox and set up my Quest 3 today due to their latest update bricks devices. Anyone know the scoop? Whoa, Dubs, as you know, I'm all in on VR in 2025, so that is news I needed to know. B, would you buy either of these?
I don't think so. Like, I'm actually going through a couple of hard drive reviews right now, and like some of the multi-K things are just, it's a lot. And the Android boxes, this is essentially going to run a version of, what is it? The PC versions of like Android box, right? Like emulation station versions of things. So you kind of have seen these setups. So yeah, I don't think it's a product for me. I don't think I really need it. But I do like, it says they're rebranding our community. It's no longer the home arcade community. It's the arcade home community. So they're trying to really trailblaze out there. This is for the arcade home community.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about Unico later when we give. I wanted to. I said predictions, but what I really mean is hopes for CES from some of these companies. I just did want to bring that up because I know Fox was pretty disappointed. I wrote him the other day when I first saw that post from Neo Severa, and he was like, "Man, what are they?" I was like, "What are they doing, man?" And he's like, "I don't like this." So, and Fox loves Unico, right? So, loves them.
Have they made, like, I know you guys talked to Jay Mason, but like, have they delivered on like all their monitors that they originally like had promised? Like the Phoenix monitors, are they available and ready?
I think they're still behind on the Nova Blast, getting those out to people, and I think the same with the monitors.
Yeah, it's always like one of those, like, if a company still needs to build credibility and they're releasing new product, that's probably one of the things I would question the most still. It's like, where's the fulfillment and promise and follow through on those before trying new products that kind of look like you said, cash rags? And like, I don't trust the new product yet if they haven't delivered.
Yeah, and they seem to be a small enough operation that working on new products is taking away. Like, remember in the past we used to talk about it with Arcade1Up. Arcade1Up would explain that they have a lot of product designers. They have a lot of at a certain time they did have like 80 employees, and so they would work on these products in parallel. And so they said, when we work on product B, it doesn't take away from product A. But I think on Unico, it is. I think it's a small operation.
Now, guys, one of the loudest companies going into CES, surprisingly, is our friends over at MyArcade. Now, I'm not the biggest MyArcade fan. I'm going to be honest with you. They are always going to have an uphill battle in order to make me interested in their products, but they are not leaving any surprises out there before heading into CES. So I want to ask you about a couple of these announcements they made in the last little while. The first one, this one is really surprising, and that is they have licensed Sega. They've got Sega. This is a company that Arcade1Up said, no, too expensive. How could MyArcade do something Arcade1Up couldn't do? One, they're probably run by much smarter people.
Well, I think you just explained it. It's not cost.
Yeah.
So it's not cost. So I think there's sometimes companies like Arcade1Up will lie and say this is the reason. What was the there was a recent one that you were talking about, Mike, where Arcade1Up kept on saying that the reason why they can't do I remember what it was. Outrun was a cab that didn't have Sega's title on it.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was claimed that the reason why is because Sega doesn't really want, their products to have Sega on it. I believe even John D said this.
It came directly from John D. Yeah.
Yeah. But then later John D said it cost $30,000 is why they didn't put the Sega logo on it.
Yeah.
And then you combine that with Unico sharing similar data with similar companies about how licensing works. There's a contract and every bullet point needs to be negotiated. And so every bullet point that you say, I want this, the company goes, cool, sounds good, but you got to give me some money. And so I think MyArcade is just better at negotiating. They're like, hey, Sega, we want to do your console games on an arcade-looking product, and we want to market it as Sega. It probably will even have a Sega logo on it. They went and got pole position and did all the development work for it.
That Arcade1Up said they couldn't do.
Arcade1Up is probably cheap, and they were trying to reduce the development costs.
And
MyArcade just is evidently more efficient. I don't know. Their product is not a product I'm interested in, but they probably have high sales in it because their products are inexpensive.
Yeah, I've heard from AtGames a lot of times. Like, honestly, their market when they were doing like the clone consoles and like Bed Bath & Beyond was probably more profitable than what they were doing right now.
So yeah, it's the casual market. And so the MyArcade thing, the thing that they haven't strayed away from their formula is kept that damn shape of an arcade machine and put that on every single thing. The only thing that we got unique was like the pole position control that was recently that came out. I was like, oh, kind of a unique control. So I don't know. Would you actually be more inclined to get this if they actually ever changed their shape? Do you like the shape of that cabinet?
I don't like their shapes. Yeah, I don't like their shapes.
Yeah,
and I don't like the plastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Kevin Clausen, I think I missed a super chat from you earlier as well. So I'm very sorry. Make these bigger. Also, hashtag ban 19K Fox.
Gotta ban that guy.
Fight the good fight, man. Fight the good fight. So something that I noticed like immediately, and I think you guys should notice as well. If these are arcade ROMs, there's only 2 games here that are arcade games, which are Golden Axe and Outrun. Correct. Sonic the Hedgehog, Revenge of Shinobi, and Streets of Rage are all 1000% console games. In fact, Revenge of Shinobi was intentionally made for the Genesis. It's the first Shinobi game that was. Now, I did have some people tell me they were ported to the arcade later, and ported is a strong term for that because some of these games, like Streets of Rage, like Revenge of Shinobi, like Sonic the Hedgehog, did eventually end up in the arcade, but not in a real arcade. They ended up in that Sega Megatech, which was basically the Genesis version of the PlayChoice 10.
See, here's what's interesting. Okay, so there's a version of Super Mario Brothers that actually says insert coin.
Yeah.
And it has patches to the original game. Like, you can't go to the -1 world, like, because the block is missing on purpose. So it probably took Nintendo, a week to make the port for the PlayChoice 10, but it technically is an arcade ROM. Or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out has scoring inside it.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
There's minor features.
Yeah.
But I don't know the Sega titles very much. Is it possible that do they say insert coin on the Sonic the Hedgehog version? Are they maybe they actually got the quote unquote arcade ROM?
Well, I mean, much will be left to debate right now. Like, from what I understand, what went in the Megatech was specifically the Revenge of Shinobi cartridge. Nothing was changed.
I see. Well,
yeah.
Also, why you got to be so snooty about it? Like, from a company's point of view, you're in a business meeting. You work for MyArcade for a second, Michael B. And they say, we just got the license for Sega. Sega agreed that they'll allow us to use the console ROMs on these $15 or $39 products. These aren't $150, right? Are they going to be $150?
Okay, so here's my answer to that. And this is honestly how I would answer in a business meeting because I can't help myself.
Okay.
I would say, guys, we've already had a reputation for using console ROMs on these arcades in the past, which has actually put our company back by several years that we then had to rebuild the trust by going and actually getting the arcade ROMs. Taking this step again is going to bring us right back to that point 5-6 years ago when we were known as the company that put console ROMs on arcades and tried to pass them off as arcades. So it will damage our reputation. Maybe. But no. MyArcade did as well. When MyArcade first came out, it was console ROMs. Yeah.
I thought the Ms. Pac-Man debacle, is that MyArcade?
I don't know about that. I know when MyArcade first came out, it was console ROMs.
Because I remember who leaked that? It was that content creator John Hancock. There was this big drama about Ms. Pac-Man, and it was John Hancock had an early review, I believe it was AtGames, of a Ms. Pac-Man. Was it AtGames? Ms. Pac-Man product, and he's like, check it out, it's the arcade ROM, it works great. And then people went and bought it at Walmart, and when they came home, it was the console version of the game. So supposedly last minute, the company swapped out the arcade ROM for the console ROM, and then John Hancock had to be like, I didn't know, like, they sent me a review unit. I reviewed the review unit. I didn't know it was pre-production. I didn't know they were going to switch it out last minute. And so, yeah, that drama was bad reputation. But if MyArcade says, here's Sonic the Hedgehog, it's the console Sega Genesis game in an arcade form factor, we're not lying to you. This is what you're going to get. Where's the drama?
It was the AtGames Pac-Man handheld. Of course, John is up to bring that up. And here is what I want to talk about. Steps Gaming, this is the exact same thing me and Fox said when we first saw this announcement. If they're going to use the console ROMs, these would work great on one of their little handheld players. Like, I have no problem with that. Do the handhelds of it. But the arcade is what confused me. So I was like, maybe Golden Axe and Outrun will be in an arcade. I mean, they just did pole position. Outrun makes perfect sense to do in that pole position form factor. But then we got a further announcement. So let me just scroll up a bit. I'm going to have to go over something. Here is the first look at what they're doing. So they went with the least arcadey of the games, which is Revenge of Shinobi. And then on top of that, they're making it the really expensive version of the arcade, like they did with that horrible Pac-Man that 19K Fox just reviewed, with the giant control stick and the 2 buttons there.
Okay.
So, yeah, these Segas are going in an arcade cabinet. I mean, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't do anything. Maybe other people would be excited about playing Sega, Sega Genesis console ROMs on an arcade machine like this with a giant joystick. I don't know.
You think those are authentic Sanwas in there?
No, they're fanwas.
Fanwas. Are those concave buttons? Yeah. And when playing Shinobi with the joystick too, especially the console version of it. Yeah.
No dubs. They released these pics yesterday, buddy. You probably would have seen it if you watched past minute 5 of my video. Sorry.
I want to say, whoever said Sega's super picky about who they partner with, that's wrong.
Well,
if Sega reviews the products and
they
have this level of standard they have to meet, that's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This looks like a
John,
piece
that
of
was all
shit.
you, John. You in the chat? You're wrong.
We can't put the Sega logo on our very authentic looking Outrun.
Totally
tab, but
wrong.
This piece of junk. It's got Sega on it 3 times.
The truth is, John's like, I couldn't convince. What was the CEO
Arcade1Up
again?
to spend $30,000 on the list.
That's right. He's like, they wanted to save money. They wanted to cut corners. What can I do?
Guys,
People
it was either we went with fake wood or we got the Sega logo.
So this is a new reason for sticker gate. It's all coming back to me, right? So they're like, you can just add a sticker, you can just remove a sticker, and that's what Outrun Sega sticker gate
But
was all
like
about.
again,
Not
even
having a Sega.
even though I'm really critical of the console ROMs, I'm hoping Golden Axe and Outrun, or at least the arcade ROMs, I got to give them credit. They've got Sega on board. They let Sega put their stickers on their horrible looking products. That's a big win for MyArcade because apparently no one else could do that.
Let me tell you how this works. The only thing that's good about this is maybe New Wave Toys has a chance of getting the Sega license, right? And then you'll be interested. Come on, Mike, you really gonna buy this?
No, God, no. I wouldn't. I like their pole position. Yeah. I'm interested in their pole position, but at a certain price. The cheapest it's been is $70 Canadian. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that.
Yeah. Do you think MyArcade is doing like development on these? Because if you remember the Arcade1Up, there was an original rumor that they were using the console version of the Outrun cabinet because the car was different. It wasn't the Ferrari, the horse logo.
What is it? The Testarossa or something?
Yeah, Testarossa. Testarato. Ferrari.
Testarato.
So it was like, oh, they're using the Game Boy Advance version of Outrun or something.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, well, no, because that's what it was compared to. But then the confirmation was that the Code Mystics actually used the original game code, but then changed that one sprite in the game. So I'm curious, like you said, like, is this going to be the original one? It'd have to be a version of that. And then do they just license that from, developer that Arcade1Up? Like, I'm just curious what version they're going to use because we knew it was an original arcade port from the Outrun that we got.
So if you guys want to get more information on these from somebody that's a little bit more favorable towards the MyArcade brand, go check out Gen X Grown Up. He covered these yesterday. He covered the Shinobi MyArcade, and he covered the next thing we're going to talk about. Speaking of handhelds, the Segas didn't end up in handhelds, but they're going to double down on the popularity of the pole position, and they're making a pole position max handheld. So here's one look at it. The art is beautiful, obviously. It's going to play the game, and as you can see, I hate when companies do this. So it's a vertical screen on a horizontal screen, so you get your black bars on the side. And instead of a wheel, they're just going to go with a big spinner over here on the side. I think the spinner is done as an actual wheel. You can't really tell right there. There's a look at the gas and the brake are just going to be buttons. And there's your start. And that's all the images we got so far.
That's kind of cool. I kind of dig that. I mean, it's like a different, it's just like a different form factor to play like a title, like in a handheld that's like a singular thing like that. That's kind of fun. Like, if you're a fan of a franchise, like to see like a product that's branded like that, that looks way more fun and branded than like the Unico one, right? Like, it's just,
I agree with that. Yeah,
like I would like display something like this, even though it should say like, well, it says MyArcade on there, but it's in a console device. It looks good. I like it.
See, I heard that only good content creators can look at a product like this and instantly say negative things about it.
And you don't even know how to do this, B.
So the biggest problem with this product is that brake and gas go in this upper diagonal way. So who plays a game like this where their thumb is pointing down, right? So you're going to be spinning this wheel. No, you play like this, right? You go in the, southeast to northwest point of view with your thumb. You want to get the thumb rocking, right? Think about you're playing the Super Nintendo and you got the Super Nintendo configured game map where your thumb is going down. No, 2 thumbs down because they don't know how people play. That's what good content creators do. They see a picture like that and say, immediately, I can see right away that this is going to be painful to play. Also, why is the gas the button in the upper right and then the brake is it's backwards, right? You want to hold down the gas on the button with the tip of your thumb and then rock the brake. Like, everything about MyArcade is completely wrong. Also, if you look closely at the screen, there's black bars on the left and right. This is a special purpose product, and they couldn't even get the
Right
LCD screen
yeah.
to be like fit the game. 2 thumbs down, and
Way
that's what a
down.
good content creator does. Looks at a picture and immediately says it's crap.
Can we, I'm sorry for the toilet humor and the dad joke or whatever you want to call this, but like, look at the button combination: brake, gas, brake, gas. Like, it's farting. Like, brake, gas. It's supposed to be brake wind, but brake gas, right? I just couldn't stop laughing at that. Anyways, John D letting out the secrets tonight. It's not that 1UP couldn't do pole position. There was a group of people, including me, who didn't want to. Scott 100% did. So for those of you out there saying, what the fuck? It's John's fault. John also didn't want to do Qbert.
It's always John's fault. You know, it's
thought it was
John.
about-
You know, he's never going to say negative things about
He told
himself.
us he couldn't do it. John
John,
like,
in the
well,
chat, tell us one thing that you regret.
You know, there's all that Marlboro licensing on the billboards.
Yeah,
like, he
I thought it
gave
was the
really good
licensing stuff.
excuses and he's like, no, I just didn't want to do it. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, like, are the billboard signs in the arcade version, are those legit? They're still there?
I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I
don't
had to
know.
watch Detroit Love's video and
Yeah.
MG, even though he trolls me a lot on this show, is just lovely to talk to. If either of you are on Discord, you got to find a Discord chat with MG. He is just a delight to talk to, a wonderful individual, and he'll leave you wanting more.
You just love British people.
I do. That is true.
The
100%.
most gracious MG he is.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. Everybody's saying I'm being critical. I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with MyArcade's licensing ability here and their ability to do stuff like get the Sega logo, get these games off the ground. I'm just baffled at the implementation. That's why I put that on the. And P Dubs asked if anybody's got video out yet. I don't know if they got video, but like I said, Gen X Grown Up, he's got some coverage of them. Dubs, you can check it out. The other thing is they announced that they're going to be doing another game station. So you remember the Game Station Pro last year, the Atari kind of branded console. Today they made another announcement. 19K Fox did his, walk. It's like one of those videos that you take after you've been kidnapped. Like he was like, guys, I've been held at gunpoint to tell you about MyArcade's Game Station Retro. Anyways, they're doing this weird thing because they don't have another console. Like they don't have like the Fairchild Channel F or Nintendo or Sega or anything. So instead of doing that, they're doing another game station, and then they're doing a combination branding of Bandai Namco and Capcom games. So you're going to get like Pac-Man, Pole Position, Galaga, Dig Dug, Mappy, Rally X, plus like Capcom games, Super Street Fighter 2, Mega Man, Strider, 1942, Final Fight, Bionic Commando. So it's basically going to be a mishmash console with Bandai Namco and Capcom games on it.
Didn't John say Namco would never work with Capcom?
John apparently says a lot of things.
He says a lot of things.
Says so much stuff.
It's like the moment John leaves 1UP, we're like, was he the one blocking all the license deals?
The world starts to heal.
John in the chat being like, I work for MyArcade as well.
Yeah, like this is just such a weird thing. Again, like, kudos, awesome Capcom games. MyArcade already had a great relationship with them. Bandai Namco, Pole Position, all the cool stuff they're doing there. I just don't get it. I don't get the purpose of another console with just these games on them.
Yeah, the old game station from an Atari at least kind of like was akin to the mini consoles of the other generations, right? It kind of looks like that, right? And so, but there's no console version of Bandai or Capcom that you would immediately get nostalgic over. But like, I like what they did with the Pole Position handheld. It was nice looking. So I'm curious what their console would look like with these titles on here. So it's not a bad lineup. It's just not going to be hitting anybody's nostalgia bone.
Yeah, like I just don't know who this is for. I don't know who's out there. I guess big MyArcade collectors. I mean, other than that, I can't say that for sure. There's my buddy in the Arcade1Up Canadian Facebook fan page chat, and he was excited about it. He was like, new game station. So I guess there's fans of the game station, but like to this to me is just a head scratcher.
The real question, it's what's the console going to look like? And then what are the controls?
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it's
maybe they'll blow us away. Imagine.
It has to be 6-button layout. It has Super Street Fighter on it, so it's going to be a
so.
6-button, 1 joystick layout. So I mean, it's pretty at the minimum, right? Because it has a fighter game on it. But at CES, they have been known to actually put together one of the better display booths. So I think we should be able to see at least a prototype of this, because I think they did that last year and they had the Atari one like really displayed. Nobody could play it there, but they did have it displayed very nicely. So this will be one to put on the list, Justin. We got to go check this out.
Yep.
Yeah, and like, guys, I apologize. I know I'm being super negative. It's just I'm going to be honest. Like, these products are so not in my wheelhouse, or so something I'd be interested in, that like it's just I can't wrap my head around it. But like, if there's people out there that like it, I would love to hear why, and maybe see if I'm missing something. I don't get the
4 days left to be mean, Mike.
I know.
So get it out.
Look, the fact that they're making another one, it probably works for them. And if you try hard, I think I can think of a reason why this product works. So if you look at the Atari Game Station, I was thinking about it. I received this as a present.
Yeah.
Someone gifted it to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got wireless Atari controllers. Like, that one thing is like, oh, $99, and you get Atari games and an Atari wireless controller, and you can gift it to someone. That's a pretty good gift. And so it's you could say like, oh, I can play all these games on the Switch. I could play it through emulation, but it's a product that's at a Walmart or Bed Bath & Beyond or whatever, and it's a $99 price point, which is a great price point for a gift for a loved one that you or like want to give them a really good gift, you know?
Yeah.
And you know they love Pac-Man or they love Street Fighter. I mean, honestly, I would say why not just do a Namco only and then a Capcom only? I mean, they could probably have got away with selling 2 products instead of 1 from the business point of view. I'm like, why didn't they just split it? But maybe that console will look... What could it look like? I'm just trying to figure out. Like, I'm looking at the Atari version, and it's got these RGB lights. It doesn't look like an Atari
thing. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like a modern nostalgia take on something like this. So maybe they're really into the RGB thing, and it'll be like flashy and like ooh, Capcom, Bandai Namco. But I agree with you on the gifting. It's like the sweet spot for like somebody's nostalgia bone for a Street Fighter or Pac-Man, and be like, oh, this is a cool gift for you.
Yeah.
So
maybe somebody will pass by it, see the art, and be like, oh, Uncle Tony loves Street Fighter, and then pick it up. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And Kevin's right. I'm not interested in any product unless it costs $10,000, except for when I'm buying gifts for other people. $99 is like a perfect price.
Yeah, but there's already a problem with this setup of games, because you need an 8-way for at least Street Fighter, but then Pac-Man is like a 4-way gate, right? And so, I mean, then we're talking authenticity for these, but I mean, if it's on one console, right? Like, it's gonna
it's not gonna have arcade joystick. It's gonna have some kind of like cheap. Remember those Arcade1Up controllers they put out with like Mega Man and Pac-Man?
Oh, so it's just gonna be like a controller.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a controller.
Like
it's not gonna be an arcade control panel.
But these are all arcade games, so this is the opposite. This is a retro console.
He's like, they're gonna do they should do a console control panel.
We'll have to wait and see on this. Like, I can't visualize it in my mind. We'll have to wait and see. You guys are going to be at CES, so yeah.
I was envisioning a fight stick to come. Like, what if it's all not in a console and just in a giant fight stick? That's the
Game Station Retro. It's 100% going to be a Game Station.
Yeah. Wait a second. Okay, I'm starting to lean towards Kong's point of view. If the Atari Game Station Pro is a giant joystick. It's the Atari stick. So what if they come up with something, maybe it's not 2 controllers, it's 1, but it's a wireless fight stick that you can also play Pac-Man on?
I don't know. It'll be some value. I mean, like, the cheapest fight stick you can get for like, 8-bit DO controllers for like $79, but that's what I would expect to play Street Fighter. I mean, playing Street Fighter, anything but a joystick is just terrible. I hate playing it on Street. I mean, I used to play it on the Super Nintendo, but I mean, it was crap. But
You know what else is crap to play on the Super Nintendo? Chrono Trigger.
Oh man, you are
shitty
such
game.
an asshole. My goodness. Every time I watch any content on Chrono Trigger, I think about you. There's this guy, I just watched him, like Liam Triforce made this amazing retrospective of how playing Chrono Trigger in the last year has like reinvigorated his love for retro gaming. And I was like, I'm gonna send this video to Michael B. It's so good. You need to replay it.
Yeah.
And not Chrono Cross.
Chrono Cross is so good. I got the Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers collection.
Don't even talk to me.
Love it. Love it. I played Chrono Cross first. And
terrible.
I played Chrono Cross first and then went back and played Chrono Trigger. And I like both games, B. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. So last but not least, I did want to talk about what we're hoping to see at CES. First off, Stern Pinball. I mean, to me, it seems crazy after they just did X-Men, they just released Metallica, that there's another release going to be coming up in like a week and a half's time. But the rumors are they're releasing something at CES, or a new cab is coming up. I don't watch Canada just because I refuse to pay to watch something, you know, like 19K Fox's after show. So well, you guys do. I get all my news secondhand through Justin. So what is the rumor? I know, but I want you guys to shine because you guys have a pinball podcast.
Sorry, MG, close your ears. Go ahead, Justin.
I think Stern's been doing about 5 products a year. They say that's 3 crazy. Cornerstones, but they keep on coming out with remakes. And so the fact that, you know, so 5 products in a year, it does make sense that every few months you would get a new release. And so Metallica and X-Men came out around the same time. And then CES, they've done it all the way back to Bond for sure, because we were there for Bond release, and then we were there for Jaws, Venom, John Wick. But we've both gone to CES and then Comic-Con, which is 2 places they'll not necessarily debut, but they'll announce just prior to it, and then almost the first time to play it. Like X-Men, you could play it in Seattle, I want to say.
Portland Retro Gaming Expo was the first time it was available. But like, so just pull up this picture really quickly that I shared on the screen. This was from Dead Flip Streaming, and it's a picture of all of the Stern designers, right? And so I think that's that's Elwin, that's Borg, Gomez, Jack Danger, and Brian Eddy. And I think the person in the back is Eisman, right? The
I'm
John
not
Wick.
sure.
I don't know who it is, but I think it's Eisman. I don't know, but I'm just trying to think. So this is their lineup.
Elwin's the guy who did Foo Fighters, right?
Oh no, Elwin did Godzilla. I see what you did there.
Good one.
But these are the people that are like continually making, like they're designing the next game after they finish their next one. So like your point of like them releasing the titles, like this is their lineup. They have these guys working around the clock, work on titles. And so I'm surprised at how fast they're turning out games, but this is the lineup of people they have working for them, which is crazy. Right. So next due up, the rumor is the guy on the left, Brian Eddy, doing Dungeons and Dragons. So that's the rumor.
Ooh, that's the one Dubs is looking forward to.
That is the one, right? Yeah. And so that's it.
Yeah, so keep in mind, you got all of these designers. And I talked to their software dev, the Ray Day, and I asked him, like, how is your company organized from a software development point of view? You know, do you work with other developers, or are you like the primary lead? How does it all work? And he was like, when they pick a new pin to be built, they pick a designer, and that designer is the owner of the design. And he has people that help him out, but only upon request. Yeah. Like, there's no, like, this other designer has an opinion. That designer's opinion is gospel.
Trumps everything. Yeah.
Trumps everything. Software developer lead, it's only that dude. I was like, does anyone code review? No. Like, it's my code goes into the game, QA validates it, I fix the bugs. Sometimes they bring in a developer to work on like 1% help in these little minute details. But it's typically like, the point I'm making is they get all, when there's a Elwin is making the game or Brian Eddy is making the game, they pair it with a team of designers, and they fully can go parallel. It's a really cool way to scale that company because they can literally come out with 5 machines a year because 5 different people are working on.
Yeah, it's not
teams.
just one designer. Like right
It's
now,
not just,
right now at Jersey Jack, like I think what's his name? The guy who just did Elton John. Like he's Brian. What's his name again? Steve Ritchie. Like I think he's involved in a lot of what goes on at Jersey Jack right now. So it's hard to do like mass numbers like that. But you got to remember, guys, I'm a little bit more inclusive than you. So I don't assume that everybody knows. Like when you say Brian Eddy, they know his history. So I think it would be a good idea to maybe mention another couple pinball machines he's made so they could get a feel for like the kind of games he made. I think that would be a good idea and really bring some of the people not as knowledgeable as you into the realm of having that understanding.
Yeah. While B pulls that up, what's really cool is Stern. It's true of all the companies, right? Like Stern and Jersey Jack, they employ some people in the industry. Like this is Brian Eddy. And if you look at the games he's made recently, you're like, oh, sure, Brian Eddy works for Stern. So, oh, wait a second. He also helped out on Medieval Madness back in the 90s and got credit for it on Chicago Gaming Company. Attack from Mars, right? So these are people that have been in the industry, a lot of them.
Johnny Mnemonic, The Shadow, Indiana Jones, The Pinball Adventure, Black Rose, Bride of Pinbot, Funhouse, Pool Sharks. Brian Eddy's legit.
Yeah. But what's crazy is Keith Elwin is considered a better designer, but he was not making games in the 90s. So you can make this story that Brian Eddy is amazing because he's been playing, building games since the 90s. But Keith is kind of taken the reign, and he was a tournament player for decades and then only recently started making games.
And he's ridiculous too. Like if you watch him, I watched him stream Godzilla before I made up my mind. Like I was finally going to get it. And like he has a casual, like 8 billion game on Godzilla. Like it's nothing.
Oh, he's so good.
He gets it built up that every time he gets the destruction jackpot, it's worth like 1.2 billion. I was like, what are you doing with your life, man? Wow. And like sometimes, these developers aren't perfect. Sometimes they make really bad games that our friends buy, and then we got to pretend aren't that bad, like Venom. So
yeah, so I mean, you're right in terms of what he did. And so his last 2 titles, I think, for Stern, because you like Stranger Things, and some people like it, and some people don't like it.
It's a take on Attack from Mars, right?
Yeah. It was just a take on that. And Mando, like when it first came out, I was like, oh, it's kind of like a new playfield, but it's such a short playfield that it's one of my favorite like the games I hate playing in a tournament because it's really hard to get a good game. And in Venom, we know also has some shooter issues. So his design from the last couple of titles haven't been, I would say, the best pinball games from a flow standpoint and playing it. But he did 2 of the greatest pinball machines of all time. Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness. And so I think people are always banking on that particular, like you said, Justin, he did it. Some people still crave Madness as the best of all time. It's still
some people maybe even just bought Attack from Mars recently.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that happening?
That'd be crazy if someone
did crazy if someone did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you know what the other rumor is for Elwin?
Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Elwin's lineup, has been really good. He started off with
I don't see Foo Fighters.
What's that?
It's weird. I don't see Foo Fighters.
He's not on here. But Justin is such an Elwin fanboy. I mean, are you gonna get all of them? Are you collecting them all?
I don't know if I'll own all of them at one time.
Let me tell you something.
But Iron Maiden, every game he has made is amazing.
Yeah,
Iron Maiden is amazing.
It's really good.
To the hills.
It's really good. I think the game I like the least is Infinity Quest. Like, but
even that is good though.
Yeah, I just haven't had a really good game on it. And also people, I don't know how much people think about Bond 60th, like his single playfield Bond 60th machine. I don't know how well people. I mean, it was so expensive. I think that was the biggest thing that many people from.
And like that was $5 or $6 grand, everyone would have loved it.
Yeah,
it was very punishing, and it was made for like hardcore players. Like Owen says that.
He admitted that. Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys, really quickly, because I know Galaga guy's getting set up for his stream very soon. I want to finish this off. So Unico, we talked about their products. Do we think they're going to be delivering anything really big at CES this year? It sounds like they got a really small space. So I would find it hard to believe they have something like a arcade that is possibly going to be there.
Well, that's what he mentioned. He said he wasn't sure that they could fit the Nova Blast in the booth. So he was saying they might put the Nova Blast at a location where people could play it, and then
like a room.
Yeah, and then what was he saying? He was saying like maybe they would have something smaller there at his booth, maybe an MVSX or something like I can't remember. He said something like that.
I just hope he makes it into the actual arcade and gaming space.
I just hope they show up. Sometimes they don't show up.
A few times we've gone to right.
2 years ago, their booth was actually in it's in like the home like tchotchke space of like, here's some like really fancy hair dryer supply thingies. Like it was just not in the right space for a gaming company to be in. And then somebody was sleeping in their booth. I mean, poor Jay, I think he mentioned he was sick and he couldn't really come out. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's not Unico. But
that was kind of funny when we walked by, and there was just this dude
that was just
sitting in a chair,
booth.
like knocked out, and we're like, "What is he doing?"
I think Unico is going to be connected with Media 1UP this year, so I think that John's involvement will push Jay and the Unico team to have more on site and maybe some kind of collaboration. John's not going to be on the floor though. John, Media 1UP. They've got a room.
Because John, everything I've heard is John is doing his thing, and then
he's separate than Unico completely.
Yeah, and Unico is saying he's partnering with someone else, like someone else has a booth, like one of his the companies that he works for has got a booth, so he's going to share it with him or something.
Yeah, Biggie D, remind me to come back to that in 1 second, okay? So what were you saying, Justin? I'm sorry, I missed some of that.
I don't think anyone has said that Unico and John D are working together at CES. I think they're just both there. Because Unico said that he's got a booth at CES, and John has said he doesn't have a booth at CES.
See, but this is where, when Jay was on my show a little while ago, he kind of let something slip that I find interesting. They are apparently doing the building or construction of another partner's product. So I think Unico are involved in the Media 1UP product.
Okay.
I think they may be doing the manufacturing piece.
So maybe they're sharing a booth with MyArcade?
So you think John D is working with MyArcade?
I mean, doesn't he work with everybody? Like, it seems like anyone, he works with everybody except for Arcade1Up.
And AtGames. He won't work with AtGames.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So here's the funny story. 19K Fox got some inside on somebody that's apparently working with MyArcade that I was also told was working with Media 1UP. So now I'm starting to think there might be more to this than meets the eye.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to it. John's behind the Rexer leaks, and then also
that is true.
John's helping out Cool Toys website for all the ROMs. Like, dude, he's everywhere.
19K Fox really doesn't want me to break this, and he knows how bad I am at keeping secrets. I was Lily and James' secret keeper.
No. Okay, well, you were supposed to come back to Arcade1Up. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so we know Media 1UP, like no one knows what they're making. Everybody thinks they know because John told everybody something different because John's a squirrely guy like that. Like he
I don't
doesn't
even
trust
think John knows what he's
making.
No,
he's actually the day of.
He's actually just trying to figure out what to make.
Yeah. Oh, 19K Fox, you already revealed it. He did it in his super secret paywall show, so I can say it.
So it's half public?
Yeah, it's kind of half public.
Wait,
somebody already put it in the chat who it was, so.
Yeah. Someone, oh, okay, well then it's out there then. So yeah, apparently 19K Fox told me this, and I didn't have to pay for it. So here's the thing, guys: you don't gotta pay for that bullshit after show. You just be his friend; he'll tell you everything, anyways. So yeah,
Just gotta drop your pants for him. That's the only thing.
Like I had to get in bed with Fox. There's pictures. So yeah, David McIntosh is apparently on the marketing material for MyArcade for CES.
Mac Daddy is coming back with a vengeance.
That's right.
So put his resume out there, and the arcade home community is getting smaller these days.
Yeah, so it's clear from that piece of news and from seeing 19K Fox doing reviews on the products that both 19K Fox and David McIntosh have hit rock bottom.
Now I'm wondering, is David McIntosh's LinkedIn, has it updated to say he's actually working for?
I don't know. Take a look.
Or maybe he'll update it right at CES or something like that.
That'd be funny if he was at CES. You think he's going to be there?
Yeah. He's going to be there for MyArcade. He's all over their marketing.
It's going to be crazy. Gen X grown up is going to be all up in David McIntosh's business.
But here's the funny thing. Remember how Nostalgia was sticking up for MyArcade earlier? You know he's going to be pissed now because he was just waiting on all that free product to come to him. And he knows David McIntosh hates his fucking guts and will never send him anything. So his MyArcade dreams are ruined. Thank you very much, Kevin Clausen. You're very, very welcome, my man. It's hard out here in these streets. Can't trust anybody, Fox. DTA.
Interesting. His LinkedIn just says that since June 2019, he's the founder, this is David McIntosh, founder of a company called Arcade PR.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he's just kind of, which by the way is a way better name than Media 1UP. Can we all agree? It's like you get let go from a company and you're like, oh, I'm going to be a free agent. I got to come up with a good name. Arcade PR, because I do PR for Arcade. And John's like, I got to have the 1UP name in it. Media 1UP? I guess that's good enough.
I don't really understand the Media 1UP. Like, is he selling DVDs or is he making Star Wars shirts to sell a comic?
I told him he should just rename the company M1UP. Like M2?
Yeah.
Like the emulation company? M1UP? Just call it M1UP. He made this video on his channel where he's like, M stands for Mark, because it's his father-in-law that passed away that told him that to do this, and he's like, Mark a new life. It's like M should stand for many things, and it shouldn't stand for media. It should just be M1UP. I love that name. Just literally the letter M, 1UP.
Yeah, M1UP is a better name. I think media stands for. I think John didn't want to corner himself in. His idea is his licensing tools can be used outside of arcade, outside of the gaming sphere, and that's what he eventually wants to grow the company towards. That's my guess.
It's like a YouTuber putting the word console in their name. Then they can only talk about console gaming. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Terrible.
Yeah. That's why I'm changing.
Podcast called Arcade and Pinball Podcast. They can only talk about pinball.
That's why in 2025 I'm rebranding my channel to Michael V R instead of Michael B. It's Michael V R.
Yeah.
It's me. It's Michael V R.
I like Kevin's idea of a name.
Media
1-upper. Media 1-upper decker.
Dude, if you do Michael V R and then do a pirate theme, so every time you say R, Michael V R.
He's going to show you how to hack the MetaQuest 3, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's about it. Like Arcade1Up, that's what I wanted to come back to. So we still don't have any clue whether or not Arcade1Up are going to physically be at CES. No one's had any connection with them. Nobody from the community is in connection with them anymore at all. And that's probably for the best, right? But do you assume they're going to do something during CES? They usually do their launch to the media, something like that. What do you hope to see Arcade1Up do at CES or around CES around that time? This is their big point of the year launching point. A lot of people can say CES has nothing to do with video games, but those of us who follow this hobby and follow this community know that that's really Arcade1Up's launching point for their year of titles.
I like the idea of, remember, they got to 4 million this year, and that surprised a lot of people. And we're like, how did they do that?
Celebrate with us. There's a reason. 4 million reasons to celebrate.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if whatever they announce at around the CES time, right, is something that allows them to get to 5 million next year? And knowing all of their constraints, where they feel as though they have to, build a reduced set of products. They can't really venture outside of the, NBA Jam, Pac-Man, and Street Fighter. Is that? And then,
they don't have Street Fighter.
Okay. Then
Marvel versus Capcom. They've got a Marvel license. Yeah.
Okay. And then they did the claw machine, which some people are I've seen videos of it sucking and breaking, but then some people are saying it's great.
Yeah.
How did they get 1 million off of that restricted set of products, and will they repeat it in 2025? And if they are, then what? That's my thought process is, are they finally getting? You said they don't have Street Fighter, because I was about to say maybe they'll finally do a Street Fighter countercade.
They did. MG says old stock sales. That's something I brought up with Phil when I had the big show this past week as well. They went to retailers last year and they said, here's our ideas. Here's our list. We want to do Alien versus Predator. We want to do that. The retailers told them, slow down. We got way too much stock on hand. Like, we need to breathe to try to move some of this stuff before we're willing to take anything in. That's what really changed Arcade1Up's plans last year, apparently. So I'm hoping a lot of that stock moved. 4 million units are out now, and that stores are interested in taking more stuff on so they can do some other shit.
Yeah, but I thought 4 million is their sales. Every single time they did, we got 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. John had said, because someone said, is that how many units you actually sold? And they're like, no, that's how many we sold to retailers. Like, the moment they make a sale of 10,000 units, they're like, we sold 10,000 units. They don't care if they're sitting in a warehouse. They still claim that as a victory. So there could be 1 million units in warehouses, and they're like, we got 4 million. We got our money.
Oh, that's not good.
But I don't think there's 1 million units in warehouses, right? No company's dumb enough to purchase that many.
What is the company that keeps buying all the stock, old stock, and then reselling them that everybody gets nuts about? What? We don't have that company in Canada. What's it called?
Overstock?
No, it's not Overstock. Everybody's always like, oh, someone mentioned it earlier. They've got a couple cabs there now on clearance.
There's this company in Minnesota, where the old Coco warehouse used to be, that had tons of old
Ollie's. Thank you guys. Ollie's.
Okay, Ollie's. Yeah. But they were selling tons of stuff
right.
super bargain.
Yeah, because there's this odd thing going on right now where someone said, was it Home Depot has Golden Axe? It's they found them in the warehouse.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, way back here, let's put it on the site. So maybe there are some warehouses that have some stock, but I can't imagine it being millions, right? No.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just hoping that, I don't want to see anybody fail in this space. Obviously, I have a connection with Arcade1Up. That's what got a lot of us into this idea, this hobby. I would love to see them bounce back. My hope is that if they're going to do rehashes, they do the right ones. They do good ones, different ones. Star Wars, Tron, shit like that. And then if they got to do some of the titles that are in that wheelhouse, like Midway, Capcom, we assume they don't have Street Fighter, but say they do have Street Fighter, they do XLs of those. That's my hope. I will die on that mountain. That's my hope, that they come out and they're like, we got a Mortal Kombat XL, we got a Street Fighter XL, we got a Tron Deluxe, we got a Star Wars XL or a Star Wars Deluxe. That's what I want to see.
Okay. You know what's going to save Arcade1Up this holiday season? Somebody has gone and fixed NFL Blitz to have late hits.
Blitzmas.
So all the Blitzmas cabs out there, if you didn't know, you can modify your actual Arcade1Up, and it's using the original arcade ROM.
You can still play online.
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah,
think
there was
If you
this
can play
great
online, that's
YouTuber
a
that made
win.
a video on it recently. Gamer Fridge. I watched him. It was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
He-
actually, I did see Gamer Fridge had that up. I
I
will
didn't
go
see
watch
anyone
him.
else make a video on it.
It's
Yeah,
not like
Blitz.
Beacon made a video. Can you
No,
imagine watching that
I
shit?
gave my Blitz to somebody to let him borrow it. And he hasn't given it back yet. But when I get it back, it's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
If you can still play online with the late hits, that's a huge win. Huge win. The only thing that always prevents me from doing any of these updates is I like my shit stock. I don't want like some new splash screen. Can you imagine like if Bobby Voo was doing updates and be like, yeah, boy, that's how the cab would start up.
No, it'd be a 1-minute intro that you can't bypass. And you have to watch it all.
I don't know.
until
So-
everything comes up.
There was one thing I heard Team Encoder was saying, and I think you kind of do want to do the Team Encoder. Like, I would love to get more information on it. Maybe it's on Team Encoder's website.
Mhm.
But Team Encoder was talking about they're fixing bugs. Like, forget what it unlocks. There's vulnerabilities in the arcade. Specifically, he was talking about when you shut off the machine, it's very possible that you can have corrupt data that's stored. That, you know, all those people that are complaining that when they turn on their Arcade1Up, it's stuck on the logo screen.
Yeah, it's freezing.
He figured it out that it's because of a mistake that the developers made and they didn't flush or clean something out. So it's actually like stuck in this boot loop because they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. And he's patching all that stuff. So in some ways, screw the vanilla stuff. You know, go with Team Encoder stuff, especially if it has those patches. You have a likelihood of having a longer product because
Like the Dragon's Lair one, it wasn't anything that like impacted anything else. It literally just fixed one thing. So the online stuff, you're just not. I thought you were gonna be a modder channel. Can you become Michael B the modder next year? Is that
No,
never gonna happen?
I'm not a tinkerer. I got my iArcade mystery encoder Team Encoder board back there. I still haven't installed. I spent 3 hours trying to set up pinball visual pinball pinup popper on my Legends Pinball 4K. Got frustrated, never went back to it. I am not a tinkerer. I want it, and I want it to work, and I want it to be easy.
I want it now.
Yeah, I want it
he-
now.
he couldn't do that. So now he's a VR channel.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
I'm a VR channel.
VR.
No joke. Like I'm telling you right now, Oculus Quest 3 up and running. I got the PlayStation VR 2 on the way. I am all in on VR in 2025. This is, I don't know why I hated it so much at first. I am in love with the VR experience now. I don't know if it's Batman or some of the other new games I played. I'm in love with it. It's, I'm having so much fun, man. And I can't wait to play like Gran Turismo 7.
It's good
Well-
because you bought this Godzilla pinball machine the other day and you never play it.
I do play it. I'm really bad now.
Dude, on the Pinball Cup, you have like a score of 30.
So you played it.
The
3
other
times.
day I played it and I got 19 million points and I said, I hate this game now.
Are you cleaning it? What's going on? How did you get 19 million?
Just had some really bad games. I think it's not level anymore. I moved it around and it's not playing like it used to. So I gotta,
Pin guy, buddy.
do you guys play Golf Plus? That's the one I was told to get. Instead of Walkabout Mini Golf, everybody's like, you got to get Golf Plus. So that's the
Look.
one I'm looking at.
I'm thinking about buying a MetaQuest 3 only.
Yeah.
Only for one reason. Because Brooklyn Menace said he'd be my friend if I got a MetaQuest 3 and we could hang out and play. I'm not being sarcastic. Like, he's got the best sales idea ever. He's like, come hang out with us. Get a MetaQuest 3 and we can hang out. It's like we're really hanging out. I'm like, I want to hang out with you, buddy.
If I buy a
I'm
not
MetaQuest,
joking.
can we hang out?
I'm not joking. I was thinking about doing like a VR show. And if I was going to do a VR show, he'd be one of the people I'd ask to be on it because he's the man when it comes to VR. You should get it, Justin. The other day I played Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. And I was in there with another guy that was, sensible. So he just kept his mouth shut and we were going around learning the game. And then there was this little kid that then started saying, you guys are imposters shooting us. Then he said, I just figured it out. I'm the imposter. And then he got mad because we wouldn't talk to him, and he left. And I was like, this is horrible. It's ruined the whole VR experience for me.
Yeah, the last time I did VR was the original when it was still Oculus Quest.
Yeah.
And so it's now on the Quest 3. So it did skip a generation, but it's pretty much the same, right? It's like not that much of an upgrade from a 2 to 3 to 1 to 3.
If you get the 3S, you get all the physical benefits of like the new Snapdragon and all that stuff, the 3S. But with the 3, you get a different lens. The 3S still uses the same lenses that the 2 had, so there's a very small sweet spot for you to actually get good VR. The 3 itself actually has these new pancake lenses, and like it's night and day. Like you basically have to try to go out of focus in these.
Nice.
So that's the big selling point for me.
All right, we're all going to become VR channels.
100% VR channels.
I kind of know a guy that actually works at MetaQuest, so yeah, he's a pinball fan.
Oh,
so
I got to tell you guys this. Hold on, my chair kind of gave up on me. My chair started going down. I started having P-Dub's vision.
You're straight up like Michael Scott when he's like, or no, it was.
This is a perfectly good chair.
It was Pam. Pam's all like.
So, what was I going to say? Damn it.
VR.
Oh, so right now, a lot of my friends on YouTube, you'll notice, are probably going to be making VR content really soon. Like, Cool Toy just did one for the 3S, and he played Batman, and he just did another video.
Yeah, but did he say anything negative about VR? I heard.
Yeah. So anyways, also Restalgia just got a 3S in a partnership with Meta. And then if you search right now, MetaQuest, you're going to see a ton of people making 20 best MetaQuest games for 2025. So here's the skinny on that. Meta reached out to a bunch of people because they have a new referral program that they're trying to sign people up to. And 50 creators got chosen to receive a free MetaQuest 3S, Doug and Restalgia. But all the creators right now have referral links for their games. So that's why they're all doing these are the 20 best games to try to get people to go use their referral links so they can make cheddar. So if you look, YouTube is just filled with them right now trying to make money on it.
Wow. And then Honey comes in and steals all their money away.
That's how it's done. Yeah.
That's how it's done. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is you're highly motivated to get into VR because what it will do for you financially.
No.
Referral program in 2025.
I'm not even signed up for the referral program. I'm not involved with it. I actually.
So you're calling out Cool Toy right now.
No, I'm not calling him out. I'm saying.
Are you
that
calling
they
out
got...
Nostalgia?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Nostalgia's a piece of shit. No, but here's the thing. They reached out to me, and I had the same opportunity to get a free headset, and I saw a referral program, and I was like, I don't want to be involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Moment of silence for a person that recently got canceled.
All right, guys, that's it. Let's get the hell out of here. My chair has given up on me. I've eaten too many burgers.
Wait,
like,
hold on.
This is a perfect.
That was a free chair, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now you got to do a re-review to say, look, I got this as a review unit, and now it sucks. It only lasts, what, 2 years? How long have you had that chair?
You reach out to Andeseat. They have some badass Transformer chairs.
Ooh, yeah.
You get a Megatron. A Megatron.
Does yours still work?
I will tell you.
Yeah,
I will tell you. I've been watching a lot of these best videos to try to learn about the games and stuff like that, especially because there's a big sale on right now. Mm-hmm. And the first video I went to last night to check out like this guy's top 20 VR games, turned his head. Guess what kind of chair was behind him? E-Win.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Don't forget, we have a poll.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look at the poll.
So we're looking at the poll. We're going to close it there. It was set up 2 hours ago. What are your thoughts on MyArcade's early CES announcements? 19% say they are excited. 6% says great games, poor implementations. That's where I would have voted. 43% says does nothing for me. So that was the winner. But coming in at second place, 32%. Why is 19K Fox shilling for MyArcade?
There we have it, guys.
The answer.
The funny story is like behind the scenes, like everybody, probably in the entire home arcade community, at one point, like New Wave Toys have been like, "Hey, we appreciate what you do. We're going to send you cabs." Everybody except for 19K Fox, and he loves New Wave Toys, and they won't send him a cab for review.
Those haters.
I don't think it's a hate thing. I don't know what it is, but anyways, 19K Fox has got to find these opportunities other places, and that's why
he's
turned
finding
to
them
MyArcade.
all right.
Yeah.
Although, let's talk positive about a fellow content creator. Have you seen his video where he sells his AVP?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God, it's such a good video. Like, it inspired me. It made me want to come back. Like, so this is something that 19K Fox is really good at. He has several videos where there's no dialogue. Like, think about it. He'll do like a pickup video, and there's like 2 minutes of him like driving around, pumping his gas, and you watch it. I do. I don't know if anyone else does, but like you're like there in the journey, and then he shows his face and he like smiles, and it's like saying something. So in his AVP pickup, you could see how he was like emotionally invested in selling his AVP. And there's all this non-dialogue, and he's showing all that. It's like a movie. And then he talks about it, and at the very end, he walks into his arcade. There is no dialogue. And he looks at his phone, and he looks straight at the camera and smile, and it says "to be continued." I'm like, this is what YouTube was all about. In the early 2000s, I loved YouTube because people made little home movies.
Yeah.
And Fox is killing it. Like, he's got a surprise video coming about what he purchased, and to kind of reveal it is this non-dialogue look at the camera. And I was like, that is beautiful.
Now, if you want to know, all you got to do is pay $4.99 to be part of Fox's after show, and he gets really drunk. And then he'll spout some right-wing rhetoric, and then usually after that, he'll reveal his secrets.
Yeah, I guess so. Guy can tell a story though.
His videos are good. B, you got something really special next to you there too, don't you? You haven't been spending money on arcades lately.
No, I spend my money on toys like I have for the last 20 years. And yeah, people don't
Show
know
them the
about it
giant
too much.
box next to you, unless it's some kind of surprise.
It's a partycade, right? You got a partycade?
Yeah, I got a giant ass party
It is
cake.
crazy what he's got here.
I got this came recently. The Star Wars Ghost from HasLab. So this is a box that is the size of an Arcade1Up Deluxe, and it's really, really heavy. It even says you need 2 people to carry it up the stairs. It showed up on my porch today. So
are you gonna unbox
HasLab
it?
Ghost.
You gonna unbox it on your members only?
Probably. I don't do anything else on that members only thing. So but yeah, I got the Ghostbusters 2-in-1. Got I forget what the helicopter thing was called from G.I. Joe, but yeah, got toys to open up, got no place to put it. It's gonna be fun.
How much do you spend on that, may I ask?
Well, HasLabs are pretty. I think the HasLab Ghost retailed at like 400. But it's huge. It's amazing. It was cool. It was 500. Oh my goodness! Don't tell Mrs. Kong Zeros. It was $500 for that Ghost.
Hey, it's okay. I mean, you did buy a $2,000 topper for Foo Fighters.
I did. I just like giant size things. They're like crazy, and like toys and vehicles. Like, have you seen this? Like this is what it is.
Let's see.
Yes. This is the Star Wars Vintage Ghost. I'm not a huge Rebels fan, but like this thing was huge. They had 21,000 people buy this.
Is this at the very beginning of the movie? Is this Rogue One, you said?
No. It's the cartoon Rebels.
Rebels, okay.
Yes. But then this actually did make a cameo in one of the like later trilogy things.
Yeah,
but
that's what I remember.
But it's huge. It's 28 inches long.
Yeah.
So it's like over 2.5 feet. It's like super detailed. And it's just freaking massive. And so I thought it was cool. Like, just as a display piece. So like, you know, I'm gonna put it on my Infinity game table for probably like a half a year and got a perfect display set for it. It's really cool. But yeah, I just love all the HasLab stuff. Like HasLabs have just been amazing, and like this is a brand that crowdfunds their own stuff. And they do good stuff. I don't even know where can you even get to their HasLab stuff. The latest HasLab that just was promoted. I got the Ecto 1. They finally did an Ecto 1. Did you see this?
I did, yeah. That's what I thought you got when you said you got the Ghost. I was like,
they just this will come out in a year. This is a 1/6 scale Ecto 1.
1/6 scale. New Wave Toys finds out about this. There's going to be hell to pay.
I think it's 1/6 scale.
Ghostbuster toys are way too fucking expensive. The Mondo toys broke me. I couldn't buy toys anymore.
6-inch scale Ecto 1. So it's 6-inch figures will go into this thing. So I don't know if that's sorry, it's not 1/6 scale, it's 6-inch figures.
See, what I was hoping for, there was that big rumor of them doing a Ghostbusters HasLab this year. And I was hoping it was going to be the real Ghostbusters Firehouse toy re-release.
I'm so happy to do the Ecto 1. It's so good. I have this on order. This is the Rattler, which is freaking amazing. This was huge. We saw this at Comic-Con. Like, I don't know, they just make crazy big vehicles. I'm all about the vehicle ones. I passed on the vintage collection Mos Eisley Cantina.
Look at that. The Hiss Tank.
Yeah, I have a Hiss Tank. This already came out. So I have that one.
Oh, that is so dope. I love the Hiss Tank. I've got a re-release of the re-release of the 3.75-inch figure Hiss Tank that came out last year.
Yeah. Oh, here's the one I got. Dragonfly. The Dragonfly is not open yet. So I got the Dragonfly. That was the Ghost. I passed on Giant Man. I just got the 2-in-1 Ghost Trap that just came out. I passed on this one. But yeah, this one's also in my room unopened. Look at this. The 2-in-1.
Really
2 in a box.
Cool.
Very nice.
Ghost
2
Trap.
in the box, 1 in the hole. They be we be fast, they be slow.
Yeah. So I gotta bust out my Ghostbusters stuff soon. So that'll be fun. Maybe, I don't know, people like toys. Maybe I'll do an unboxing and review.
If they do the Ghostbusters remake, Stern.
Ew, that'll be fun.
Make your own topper.
Yeah.
You like to make your own topper?
I do. Yeah, because they're expensive.
Don't you have a hookup?
I did with somebody who works for MetaQuest. So
he's no longer with Pinball.
What's that? No. He's he actually did some stuff and worked with Stern on some projects too. So he's a developer for MetaQuest, but has worked with Stern Pinball on things too. So yeah, he's awesome, and he has a bunch of LEs in his garage. He's awesome. It's freaking cool. Always back to pinball. That's right, MG. That's right.
Yeah. They're gonna get mad at us. We'll still talk about pinball.
We should talk
anyways,
more
guys.
about pinball.
We should talk.
You know what we should do, B? We should like have an entire podcast where we only talk about pinball.
Yeah, and call it Arcade and Pinball for everyone.
That's right. We'll just do the arcade so that the people that think it's about arcade will come.
Maybe.
And then we'll just talk about pinball.
Maybe.
So, guys, I'm really thankful that 2 of these guys filled in tonight. I'm really sorry Super Game Room Dudes didn't do a show this past 2 weeks. Dubs had other stuff to do. He told us he was playing this old on-rails Star Wars game earlier. Apparently, he couldn't do YouTube, but he could do that. Anyways, thank you so much, Justin and B. I think I speak for a lot of us when I say we're happy to see you guys back on YouTube. Love the fact you're doing this new show, Pinball for Everybody. I will say it's a little on the nose when that's the same brand name for, Wonderland
Amusements.
Yeah. So, it feels like it's a show set up for them.
Pinball for everyone. I was like, what?
Is it Wonderland Amusements Weekly? Is that the name of the show?
Probably. They were supposed to be at CES too, right? Oh man, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
but
I don't think they're gonna be
alas,
there, right?
they won't be there. It's not ready. It's not ready for prime time.
Good.
No.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
if it's not ready, it's not ready.
It's not ready.
Let it cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently I'm no longer a home arcade channel either. I'm outside of the bubble. I now just go to garages with arcades, and my videos do fantastic. I just need to find more people that have garage arcades. And
listen, the thing is, I'm going to be a VR channel. I exist outside this little home arcade bubble. I'm really big in India, like 19K Fox. I am ready for the new year.
See, B or Michael B.
Michael V.
VR.
What you need to do is just finally start buying subs. If you start buying subs, then your reach will be far beyond this bubble. I mean,
I will
literally everyone else is doing it.
I will never do that ever.
I mean, all the big channels are doing it.
Justin, you know I'm the cheapest man alive. I won't even pay for my own StreamYard. Am I going to buy subs?
But what would you say about a person that continues to buy subs when they can't afford subs? I mean, like they can't afford sandwiches. They can't afford subs.
I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about that. My opinion is let people do whatever makes them happy. I don't really give a shit if they got to do that to, float themselves up. Do it. I don't really care. Doesn't impact me.
It doesn't.
I'm not in a race with anybody.
Doesn't irritate you? Am I irritating you right now?
You ask me some leading questions sometimes, especially when I'm drunk to get me in trouble.
I don't know why you always have to go with the you can do whatever you want. It doesn't bother me.
Because it doesn't. I literally don't care if someone buys subs. That's their business. It doesn't impact me. No one's in a race here. Like, I don't give a shit.
I'm in a race.
Is there somebody else that like has spreadsheets and folders of people?
Dubs. When he told us that, I was like, oh my God.
I would pay to get access to those folders. I want to read those. Not just me. If he said, look, you have to pay $100 and you can either look at your own folder or everybody else's folder. I would want to see everyone else's folder. Like I would pay
Who
for
keeps
that.
Folders on other YouTubers in case they need to use.
Do you know the other thing? Crazy. I'm gonna say this publicly. You know what else P-Dubs did that was really awkward? Is remember last year when all of a sudden he deleted our Facebook group and created a new one and re-invited everybody, and everyone's like, "Why'd you do that?" He's like, "It's kind of getting old and slow." We're like, "Whatever." That's not how Facebook Messenger works.
No, you didn't.
Facebook only loads the last
the old
100 messages. You just didn't want us to scroll up and start screenshotting things that you said. That's the truth.
He got
afraid.
He was worried we had file folders.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a little interesting. I completely forgot about that.
He's gonna do it again. Like
so
I've been taking
screenshotting?
pictures. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I've been taking
hope
pictures.
No one screenshots that. I make so many terrible jokes in there.
You know all the trips that we go on, and then we'll post in Messenger. Like, here's the receipts. Like, I spent time downloading all the receipts and putting it in the spreadsheet so we can all eventually pay each other back.
Oh, I do owe you some money, Justin. I gotta get that.
That's fine. It's all documented, but I did it a couple weeks ago because I was afraid P-Dubs is going to delete the messenger again, and we wouldn't have access to who owes what.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
I can't wait till he quits and brings up his manifesto, and he's like, "And here are all the people that wronged me."
I think he said something about that. Like, if he actually does retire, he'll do one last super drama video. It would be so good.
Oh,
all right.
I don't know if he's serious or not, but it's so funny.
He's the biggest troll, is what it is. He's trolling us, He's like,
That's what it is. Joke on us.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, I really appreciate this, and I do mean this, guys. When you get a chance, go check out Arcades and Pinball for everybody if you haven't already. It's great to have these guys back in the community doing their thing. I love the two of your guys' dynamic chemistry together. Love your show. I hope to see you talk more stuff about Toys B. I've always been pushing you for that. You're such an avid collector. Got such a passion for it. I would love to see more about that.
Toys and Pinball. That's what we should have called
Toys and Pinball for everyone. Yeah. Forget about arcades. We're out of the bubble. We're getting out of the bubble.
I told you we had to go because Gallagher guy. I love Gallagher guy. Let's help him out.
Hey, his YouTube link has 88 in it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Go check it out.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
I gotta remember where the asset is to leave.
So,